We now return to Illinois Rising, presented by the Illinois Opportunity Project, the radio show discussing honest truth about Illinois policy and politics. Here's AM 560's Dan Proft.
Dan back with Joe on this edition of Illinois Rising, and this week amid the Kavanaugh saga, many Democrat senators responded to President Trump, essentially challenging the credibility of Dr. Blasey Ford, the main accuser of against Brett Kavanaugh. And in response, let me give you kind of a flavor for it. Senator Kamala Harris had this to say at the Highbrow Atlantic Ideas Conference.
What would you have said to President Trump about his mocking of that very memory at his campaign rally last night in Mississippi?
Stop being mean.
Yeah, yes! Stop being mean. You mean like calling Brett Kavanaugh a rapist? You mean like accosting people at restaurants and other public places of accommodation? You mean like jumping your neighbor, Rand Paul, and putting him in the hospital? Rand Paul's wife had a good piece at CNN.com this week on that. You mean like having a Democrat congressional intern arrested for doxing Republican senators? That kind of mean? Or how about locally? You mean like vandals in Rockford essentially violating the Winnebago County Republican Party headquarters by writing in graffiti the words rape and shame across the building with red and yellow spray paint. Is that what Kamala Harris means by stop being mean?
I think she means mean by the tweets that the president puts out. I mean, you make good examples too, but I think I don't know if those are top of mind for her versus the president's tweeting out. Right.
She's probably not so concerned about meanness in every direction, or violence, frankly, in every direction, criminal conduct in every direction. It's one thing to mock. That's not a crime. It's another thing to vandalize. It's another thing to attack. It's another thing to open fire on a Republican congressional caucus softball practice. And that's a little bit of the environment we're in, and that's what Rand Paul's wife was talking about in the op-ed that she wrote, because of the security details that are required these days for senators who are not routinely and consistently attacking Trump. For more on this topic and the specific local example I provided of less than redeemable behavior, we're pleased to be joined by State Representative John Cabello, a Republican who represents Rockford. John, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So what do we know about those acts of vandalism that were inflicted upon the Winnebago County GOP's headquarters?
Well, the Rockford Police Department actually made an arrest and charged a guy, 42 years old, Tim Dam was his last name, who was caught and admitted to doing all of the spray painting. He lives down the street from the headquarters. Apparently, he didn't like having conservative Republicans in his neighborhood, and wanted to make sure that he had the opportunity of showing that. Unfortunately, he is not the brightest person in the world, and did a TV interview with some of the things on his shirt that he put on the building, and a local Walmart that he bought all the spray paint from kind of turned him in as well by saying, hey, that guy came in and bought a bunch of spray paint. So it was not too difficult to put together, but it's just amazing what people are willing to do to show outrage.
What was the reaction like from your constituents when they saw the vandalism? I mean, Democrats or Republicans, how did people react to seeing that happen?
Well, a lot of anger, really. People in disbelief that somebody would be willing to go that length to show their outrage. It's my phone blew up after I posted the pictures on Facebook. It achieved national news, and there's plenty of people that say that they were Democrats, that they were also outraged by that, and that they apologized that somebody possibly from their own party would do that. So there are, good folks still out there, which is good. But then you had people saying that, well, no, it was just the Republicans doing it to try to get attention. So you got the full spectrum going on.
Well, yeah, so you got the full spectrum going on, but had this situation been reversed in terms of the target of the attack and the political persuasion of the attacker, every Republican in the state would be called on to account for what occurred. And I suspect that most people outside of the Winnebago County area don't even know that this event occurred.
Yeah, like I said, it did make some national news, but right now folks aren't paying too close attention to what happens in Winnebago County. Where there's a governor's race going on, and most people are just pretty sick and tired of politics because of the politicians that are in office right now.
People are pretty sick of this kind of stuff and politics as usual, but there are these people like the man in question in Rockford who would go to the lengths of doing this. I mean, what kind of factors do you think lead people to this kind of anger that we may not have seen 10, 20 years ago, but for some reason in the current political climate, we're seeing people do stuff like this, vandalizing a Republican Party office?
Well, I think it's getting to the point where people are taking it personally for some reason. You are taking somebody's view against yours as a personal attack against you. That's not what it is. That's not the way it was supposed to be. I don't know if it's because of the participation awards and everybody's a winner. That's not the real world. I mean, there's winners and losers every day. If you want to be a winner, you got to work harder than the person that you're trying to beat. So I think that's part of the problem. But also, I think there was some definite mental issues or mental health issues with this gentleman as well.
So what are the preeminent concerns you hear from your constituents about the state of the region, the state of the state, and what they'd like to see, hope to see, even if maybe they're a bit fatalistic about it, hope to see come November 6th and beyond?
Well, luckily, we are not hearing anything about a blue wave. We are hearing more of people wanting to vote in conservative Republicans because they're tired of seeing their taxes going up and up and up and up. Besides folks up here talking about their property taxes being, the second highest in the nation, they're talking about now, we're hearing more and more of people wanting to leave. And the more people that leave the state, the more people that stay have to pay. So we've got to find ways of getting elected officials that understand that we need to add to the tax base to make it lighter on everyone and find ways of reducing the size of government. Because I firmly believe that government has grown beyond the consent of the governed. But unfortunately, the people that are elected right now don't seem to understand that or even care about that.
It's interesting you say a blue wave may not be coming, and at least in your area, people are looking for actual fiscal conservatives, conservative Republicans, not those who pretend to be. How does the governor's race impact that? Because, Bruce Rauner is, according to the recent polling, is getting hammered, and it's difficult to see if you don't have enthusiasm for the top of the ticket, how you'll get enthusiasm at the state legislative level, and how much of a concern is that to you and your caucus mates?
Well, I can say that it's very well known that I did not support Bruce Rauner in the primary. I supported a true conservative, Jeannie Ives, and she did an excellent job. She got very close of being our true conservative candidate. What I'm hearing from folks here is that even though they might not be motivated to go out and vote in the election for the top of the ticket, they understand that there's much more at stake throughout the rest of the ticket. And that's, I think, what myself and other caucus members are trying to get people to understand. Even if you're not happy with what's at the top of the ticket, they don't always make the decisions. They don't always have a vote to make sure that your property taxes are being reduced, or at least fighting to make sure that your state income taxes don't go up, or that there's a progressive tax coming. I think they're understanding and motivated to make sure that they have the right people in place that will be voting for them on a daily basis.
He is State Representative John Cabello, Republican from Rockford. More information on his campaign, John Cabello, Cabello, johncabello.com. John, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me. Take care. Stay safe.